What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Founder Academy. So this is part 3 of our weekend league journey. So we are at 11-5. We are coming off a win, and at this stage in our weekend league, we are about, I think this is the start of Sunday. Yeah, Sunday. So we basically needed 3 wins out of Sunday, and then part of our Monday at the back end of this episode. But I just needed 3 wins. I think we end up playing somewhere around 9 games total. In order to get the 3 wins, it took us about 6 games somewhere in between. So a little bit of a spoiler alert there. But a lot of people believe that Sunday is actually the weakest. I want to say the weakest, but like I don't even want to say the easiest opponents, but when a lot of guys like to play because they're getting a lot of rage quits and everything, I actually find it the opposite. I find that because at this stage in FIFA, your record figures out kind of where you're at in terms of the skill rating. You're actually just getting the most even matchups. So this was one of the toughest games that we played the entire weekend, just because we were coming up against a really good opponent. This guy was very equal skill, and as you guys can see, this game's very back and forth. Big saves from both keepers. The defense was very tight. There wasn't a whole lot of openings. This guy was hyper aggressive with his backline, but he's also got a very, very skilled backline. He's got team of the season Sergio Ramos, and he had team of the year Van Dijk. So basically the best 2 combinations, or the best 2 defenders you could have as center back. So I actually, one thing you'll notice here is I was playing with Pele up front. So I was using my Moments Pele. A lot of people are using loans. EA's given us a ton of loans for this late in the year, which I always think are just crap. I don't really want loans. But with that being said, to use them in Weekend League, I might as well, because everyone else is using them. So if I ever had the opportunity to find a better time to use them, I couldn't think of it. This is like the perfect chance for me to use Pele, just because my Aguero had actually ended up getting injured. Pele, though, big fraud. His movement, his passing, he felt really quick, but he just didn't put anything away. Now, like I said, this opponent was really good. He was really sharp. Defensively, didn't give me a whole lot of opportunities, but that's even more important for him to put them away. He's like a 99 rated card. I expect him to be able to finish some of these opportunities, and he just did not feel like a very, very good player. He didn't feel super clinical. And this game was just one of those ones where the ball wasn't really bouncing for either of us. You can see I had that opportunity with Maradona, and for some reason, I bring it onto his left. He's got a perfect chance to hammer it with his left, and he shoots it with his right, and it bangs off the post, and we wouldn't even need to go into extra time if that was the case. But we do go in extra time. We end up getting the goal with Maradona. At this stage, I just need a second goal just to really put this away. I'm holding on. I'm trying to play good defense, but as we come into the 120th minute, you know what happens in the 120th minute. A little frustrated there that my team actually didn't cover that run better. They really just let Wayne Rooney go floating into the middle, and a simple pass and a smash into the near post, and we're at 1-1. And we're going to have to go into penalties. Like I said, very angry. I wasn't at the point where I was raging, but I was frustrated because I thought I deserved to get the result, not because I was a better player so much, but because I thought I defended well. And just to have that 90th minute and the 120th minute cheese kind of basically just screw me. Yeah, that was really frustrating. It got me amped up, right? Like at this stage in FIFA, these guys are not bad players like anyone that you're playing. You get some a little bit of weaker opponents, but you're not getting too many guys that are that poor. So you give them half a chance and they're going to bury it, but he wouldn't even have gotten that half chance if it wasn't the 120th minute. So a little frustrating on the game's part, but what are you going to do? They happen for you, they happen against you. I don't seem to get too many 120th minute goals or even 90th minute goals, but I know they happen, right? So we do go into the shootout. This guy actually stopped my first 3 shots, so I thought I was pretty much dead here. I was like, okay, this guy's reading everything. And normally I pride myself on my penalty shootouts, but I did get a stop there, and I was like, okay, well, maybe I can kind of claw back here. This guy was actually really frustratingly good at penalties. At reading my penalties, I don't miss too many, let alone 3 in a row, and this guy read almost all of them. So as we come down to the final shooters here, Paul Pogba steps up, and I'm trying to figure out how to read the penalty shooters their head movement, but I don't know if I'm doing it that well. But we do get another opportunity there to take us into our final shooter, and we do get a big stop. So coming back from the dead, and next thing you know, we're going into sudden death, essentially. So I was really proud of myself coming back from that. I thought I was really dead in the water there after he scored 2 of his first 3, and I missed almost all 3 of my first 3. Then I had the opportunity to win after reading him really well. And I just really screwed up here. I should have just went low, not... I don't know what I did there. I just choked. I just choked on that penalty. I think I had it, and when I saw the big circle, I double tapped it, and it made it red, and I was just like, okay, I'm pretty much dead here. And then he ends up putting another shot away. I gave him this opportunity. I shouldn't even have been in a shootout. We were defending really well. We were on ultra defensive and high pressure, and I got frustrated. The game even gave him the opportunity, but. We shouldn't even have went into penalty shootouts, but we did, and I should have buried him when I had the chance. I didn't, so I can only really blame myself on that. Penalty shootouts are what they are. It's let the better man win. I was a little annoyed there. I thought I read his shot, but it goes off my keeper's legs and into the net. And like I said, this guy was a really good penalty shot stopper, and I tried the little dink, because I thought the keeper was going to dive out of the way and it would just lob it over top. But it was so poorly lobbed that he got the chance to read it, and an easy save from his keeper. So that's my fault. I'll take that one. We finish at 1-1, and then we lose, 5-4, 4-3 on penalties, something like that. So we're at 11-6 now. And then we come up against this guy, and this game was very, very frustrating. I believe this was the game where I did this, where I raged and destroyed my my box by just breaking it over my knee. And then I actually remembered I did this twice. I actually kind of raged twice, but that was the first one. Where I crushed it over my knee. And most of those, I forgot about that, but most of those dents actually came from me smashing against the computer screen box. But those happened in 2 different games, because when I was editing this, I was like, okay, now I remember actually doing this twice. The first one was just a moment of frustration, but it came from this. It came after this game. So I was up 1-0 after what I thought was quite a nice goal. Thought I should have probably had another one there. Nice little cut inside from Maradona. He actually read it, but Maradona's skill took the ball over top of the defender. Good little cut inside from him. I don't know what his player was doing, missing that opportunity. But, I thought we were the better player of the 2 for most of this game. I was reading his defense I was reading his attacks quite well. He wasn't the best attacker, as you guys can see. And I'm pretty honest about that. I thought my opponent, the last opponent that I played in that first game, was a much better player, much better attacker. He was a hell of a lot better defender, that's for damn sure. And he just basically came down. Not a terrible goal there. I thought my players were in pretty good position. I thought they would have cut that out, but we are at 1-1. I just really want to pull away from this guy. I want a second goal. Nice little fake shot to get the inside lane on the defender. That's one of my patented moves. When you have that inside lane and you got to step on the defender, do the fake shot. It cuts the angle down, and it gives you an opportunity to essentially break on the inside of your defender and get a clear-cut scoring opportunity. So I'm up 2-1, and like I said, I thought it was quite deserved, right? I thought I deserved to have that 2-1 lead, and then this guy just kept coming downfield. His team wasn't playing that well. But he got the odd chance here and there. He wasn't absolutely terrible, but I thought we owned most of this game. And I thought I had a third one here, but for some reason my Alexis Sanchez was called offside. I don't know how he was offside there. But, we are coming off the loss there, even though it is an extra time penalty shootout loss. That does affect your morale, and he does get an opportunity here. I don't know what the hell happened with my defense. But look at that. How ridiculous is that? He plays to a player he wasn't actually onside, but the first guy dummies it to the second guy, and then the second guy shoots it back through his player's legs again to score the goal. It was really ridiculous. And then I end up getting a red. So now, based on my last video, you guys would have seen that I always believe that reds actually positively affect the team that's defending. So my team was playing quite well. However, I do have to stop this guy from scoring, because if he can get that third goal, it'll break the DDA and it'll swing back in his favor. So I desperately need to score. My team is playing actually quite good defensively. The one mistake I did make, though, was I didn't move a player back into the left back spot. I think I left a left back spot open, so essentially I'm playing with 3 at the back because I want to keep attacking. I don't want to sit there playing too defensive. However, once he gets this goal here, it just became game over. And this is where I was frustrated. That was my fault for, like I said, leaving that left side exposed. But the DDA swung after this like crazy. It got to the point now where I can't stop anything. Every time he was coming forward, it was just wave after wave after wave. And he was a piece of crap. Like, look at him. He's going to shush me, I think, on every single goal. Even though he didn't deserve to be in extra time. I don't want to say didn't deserve, but he was lucky to be in extra time. I beat the crap out of him, during regular time. And I'm not going to even be humble on that. I beat the crap out of this guy. But once we got in extra time and, I took that stupid red, his team just walked downfield. You guys can see there's basically no resistance from my team because the DDA in the game just swung after he scored the third goal. I mean, credit to him for getting the third one, but, you see what a rat bastard this guy became, right? He was just doing celebrations. He was running around celebrating. But it wasn't him. It wasn't him that was scoring all these goals. It was the game, essentially. The DDA in the game just swung so rapidly that it didn't really matter what I would try to do. I tried to go ultra attacking on offensive and try to break a little bit and get, another goal. But this guy was just playing like a real rat. And I knew that it was just going to be a landslide. Like, I couldn't stop pretty much anything. Even the slide tackles there, like, they're all mistimed. Everything's out of sync. I'm not able to get anywhere near these players. My guys are just running around like goofs. And he just walks downfield. There you go. Like, no real skill. It's just literally pass. But my guys are just all behind the play. They're not reading anything. And again, like I said, that's the sliders. They're not tracking runs. And then all he does is just blindly hit pass across goal and shoots it, and it just goes off my keeper. Like, the keeper was in good position. He probably should have saved that. But because, again, the sliders are so far down, he's going to bounce. He's going to essentially just act like a pole, and it's going to bounce off of him into the net. So he's got 6 now, and I think he ends up getting another one. Here, as you guys see, like, there's no resistance from my players. I'm having to kill myself to really stop almost anything, but at this point now, I can't even control my guys. Like, there's just nothing that I can do to break this. And every time he would rush forward, his players were just coming at my defenders in waves, and my defenders were just standing around like literally pylons. You could just pass through them. And he ends up getting 7. So a very average player. Not even a good player. I wouldn't even say he's a good player. That's removing the animosity I have towards his celebrations aside. I don't think he's a good player based on the guys that we've played. We played some much better players in this episode. This guy was not one of them, but he just put 7 past me because of the gameplay. So at this point, I just wanted to get 1 just to rub it in his face because he was trying so hard to not let me score, like so hard, and I ended up getting 1. So I'm going to run around, celebrate like a bit of a goof here because he was a rat asshole. So, why not rub it in his face a little bit? But we lose 7-3, right? So now my team is at a point where they're completely unplayable. I'm going to have to take them offline because that's 2 losses in a row. And believe me, after those 2 losses, they're going to be stuck in mud. This is just going to amplify over and over and over. And we need to get our team out of that because you can't afford to have that in FUT Champs, or else your team is just going to, get into the slippery slope where they just lose and lose and lose until you come up against somebody else who's in that case. But there you go, 7-3 to this guy. Undeserved victory, undeserved result. Even if he deserved the victory, I don't think 7-3 was reflective of that game. He just basically took advantage of the fact that our team was getting DDA'd really badly, but we did take our team offline, and then we come up against this guy. As you guys can see, much better opponent in terms of the quality of his team. He's got red Kevin De Bruyne, red Sergio Ramos, and red Ter Stegen. I'm praying, guys, tomorrow that I get just even one of those cards. That's all I want, is just like 1 red. This whole year, I've only had 1 red that I've even kept, and that was Adama Traore, and then I got to the point where I didn't even need him. Like, I don't use wingers, as you guys know, but Adama Traore at this stage in FIFA is not usable. So I ended up putting him in an SBC. I would just like to have just one staple that I can put in either this team or my fitness team. Just somebody that I can use. Even if he comes off the bench, I would be okay with that, but I would love to have somebody that's a starter. But yeah, you guys can see here, like, my players are just playing much better. After we took them offline, got their morale back up, they're playing much better. Maradona is able to dangle in really tight quarters. And, you can just see the opportunities, a missed shot, but at least it's crisp. And, that's me missing it because I didn't take the angle properly. But that first goal from Maradona, nice little pass inside, and he's able to slip, or just, finesse that shot past the keeper. And then, it's just perpetuating itself. The better we play, the more opportunities we're generating. And you guys can see how crisp their passing is. Nice little 1-2, and that's all I want, right? When you make that play, shoot into space, stay on side, and I'll find them again. So a beautiful little 1-2 that was played to perfection, and was able to get rewarded for it. But that's what you get when your team's playing well, right? When you take them offline, get their morale back up. It's not a placebo effect. It's just morale, right? You get their sliders back up, and they play 100%, and that's what you get. So we're up 2-0 against a very decent opponent. This guy wasn't the world's greatest player by any means, you guys can tell. He didn't have a whole lot of opportunities. But, look, that's a perfect opportunity that I was talking about. In the last couple games that we were playing, when my team was getting moraled, when I had the ball with De Jong there, Aguero would have sprinted offside. You saw it 100 times. I sounded like a broken record in my last video. He would just fly offside, but there he held his run, right? He waited. De Jong didn't take any stupid touches. I waited till he was starting to make a move, and then I played it into space. But when your team's getting handicapped, when it's getting moraled, they fly, like double time. They sprint into offside position so that you'll play the player into an offside position. But we didn't, right? He held his run perfectly, and I was rewarded for it. And I appreciate when the game is playing well, because that's what you get. And it's not just because I won 3-0. Like, unfortunately for this guy, I can't even tell you if his team was playing good or not. But all I can tell you is from my team, like, I appreciate the goals. Even if he would have scored 3, I'm happy with the way my team's playing, and I lose to an opponent that would have been better than me. I'm fine with that. That's all I want. Just a team that plays well. It plays to its abilities. So we're at 12-7. We just need 2 more wins. We come up against this guy. I believe he was like a Colombian player or something like that. He might have had a Belgian flag, but I think it was like El Nacional or something like that. He's got I believe that's the Belgian Belgian badge, but he had like a Colombian kit or something like that, which I believe El Nacional is like a Colombian team, or it's talking about their national team or something like that. So I'm assuming this guy's Colombian. Because I'm in North America, because we're on the East Coast, I tend to match up against a lot of South Americans. We'll come up against a lot of Mexicans, Peruvians, Colombians. Oh, there you go, Ecuador, right? So I'm assuming this guy's from Ecuador, based on the fact that he's got an Ecuadorian kit, or at least he's Ecuadorian descent, because you very rarely get guys that are just playing with Ecuador teams and naming themselves El Nacional. So a good goal. But my team's playing fine. I was happy with how they were playing. Unfortunately, a little overhit. I don't know what Eder Militao's doing up there. Who does he think he is? But yeah, my team was playing fine, but this guy was just a good defender. I just couldn't really break him down, to be totally honest with you. I generated a couple opportunities, but look, anybody who's using Marc-Andre Ter Stegen, Franco Baresi, even though it's his prime moments, he's going to be a good enough player. There you go. He taps the ball up to himself, knocks the ball up to himself, and ends up volleying it. I think he had that red Lewandowski. So that just goes to show you another guy who's a really good FUT Champs player. If he's getting a red Lewandowski, you have to open a lot of packs and get a lot of reds in order to get one of the 99s. That's all I got to say. It's very rare that you just see a fluky guy get, one red 99 rated card. But this guy was just a good player. There you go. You can see he's doing the lean over run, so the DDA is in his favor. But I'm not mad at this one. I'm not mad at this because my team was playing well. They had the opportunity. This guy just beat me. He was just a better player. And as I've told you guys a million times, I'm pretty fair when it comes to understanding who's a better player. I thought I had a good showing with this. I thought I played well, but unfortunately we just came up against a guy. I think he got a little lucky with some of his goals. I probably deserved 1 or 2 here and there, but I think he deserved the win overall. This was one of the only games where I just felt like, regardless of what I was doing and kind of some missed opportunities, he was, his goals were fair. It was just poor defending on my part, and this guy just beat me. So, it is what it is, and, I'm not the type to say that the game beat me just because I lost. I'll tell you when I deserve to lose, and I think I deserve to lose this game. This guy was the better opponent on the day, and there you go. We are now at, 12-8. So, unfortunately, we still need 2 wins. We've taken 3 losses so far in this episode out of 4. Sunday was a very frustrating day for obvious reasons. And I was just really at the point where my thumb was raw, and that's not an excuse. I was really frustrated because I was just mentally drained. I think I just played too much FIFA, more FIFA than I'd played in 2 days. And then I forgot to hit record on this next one, which is unfortunate because this was actually the best win that I'd had. I won 5-0, and I think the guy quit out after the 80th minute or something like that. I don't remember the game at all, so I apologize. I was really annoyed with myself because I try to capture every single thing that I do to tell the narrative here. I don't want you guys thinking I'm cheating or anything like that. But I was actually, I beat the guy 5-0 and made him rage quit, which was a rarity on a Sunday. But yeah, 5-0 is, I'll take that. And we are now at 13-8, and we just need one more win. This is our final game on Sunday, so you can probably assume what's going to happen, but the team's playing good again. Like I said, when I'm taking a couple losses when my team's playing quite poor, I take them offline. I don't remember if I did. I think because I had taken them offline before, I'd won, and then I'd lost only the one game, and then we'd won that 5-0 game. I felt like confident that I could just come into this next game and they would be playing good enough. And this guy had a decent team. Again, using Kevin De Bruyne just over and over. Every single person has that guy in his squad. He's just really annoying to play against. And he ends up scoring that weird goal with St. Maximin. Gucci scores. And frustrating start because I think the guy was really surprised that he ended up scoring that because he was running around celebrating it, and I think it caught him by surprise. But we got a really nice equalizer. I was really proud of that one. I was playing the ball around in my bait and rush tactic, and I saw the run on there from Aguero, and I was able to finesse the ball, or I was able to drive that pass straight into feet, catch him off guard. He was not expecting that, and a nice little finish from Aguero. And then a beautiful, again, little 1-2 between Aguero and Maradona. I love that play when it works. I'm looking for it a lot of the time. The 1-2 is something that, is a tactic in real life that works extremely well. It's a part of real world football that I'm a big fan of, and it should be rewarded in FIFA. So I was happy to do that. I was happy to be rewarded for that. And then he runs downfield with De Bruyne and just smashes it through my defender. This one was a little frustrating for me. I had really good defensive positioning on him, and he was off balance, but he shot it around my Semedo, like you guys can see it. I was annoyed at that one. The 7-3 game was the one that I raged on, which I forgot to mention. That was the one where I smashed the box over my knee. But yeah, I was frustrated here as well. I didn't rage, but I was frustrated because I thought, that was very undeserved. He just ran down the field, and my defender's right there, and instead of identifying it and putting a tackle, he was like a pylon, and his De Bruyne shot around him. But yeah, we were able to score another one, and then I'm surprised that this was actually not offside. A nice little play from Maradona. He pump faked his keeper. I thought I was actually going to screw that up when I played the tramp, but thankfully Dembele is 5-star, and he smashed it into the empty net, and it broke the trend that this guy was on. And then late in the first half, we get another opportunity here with Sergio Aguero. I thought we had another one, but a nice play by his Ter Stegen to actually stop that. I don't even think he did get a yellow. Can you get your keeper sent off in this game? I don't even know. I should have done a lot better with that. That was my fault there. I really should have just stopped and then done the ball roll, and this game would have been dead in the water already. But, I'm going to do my patented little fake pass there. When those guys run and try to cover the net, I'm just going to, lay the ball off and try to score. However, his keeper made another really nice save, and he's at 4-2. So I do want to get the fifth because I think 5 is just going to put this completely out of reach. When it's at 3-2, that's one of the worst leads you can have because, the game's almost always going to give him an opportunity to tie it up. 4-2 kind of breaks the DDA, I found, and gives you a little bit of the advantage back. As you guys can see, he's not getting any crazy lucky bounces. And then we get the opportunity here to send Aguero through. Really nice time pass by Maradona. We round his keeper. That time we play it smart and we just smash it into the empty net. And this guy's done. He's had it at this stage. He ends up starting to do stupid things. He's getting frustrated and he's trying to slide tackle me, getting very desperate. Marletto, he did not like that, so he slide tackles my Maradona from behind. Gets just a yellow, but for some reason, I guess that was just enough to make him rage quit. And there you have it. We are at 14-8. So that's enough for us to finish on gold 3. And that was my Sunday. At this point, I was like, you know what? I need a break. We go 3-3 on Sunday. I'm pretty much, done with this. I think we're at 22 games. So we had 8 that we could have played. But like I said, that was done on Sunday. That was all I cared about. However, it did get extended to Monday, so I didn't find that out until Monday morning when I came online and saw that people were playing FUT Champs when I was on Twitch. So we do end up playing a couple more games, but before we get to that, we have the 290 plus rated packs. They've been releasing a lot of these, which is okay. I don't mind them when they're like 84 rated. And we end up getting Atal. So Atal's not a card that I've used yet. He's still sitting in my club even to this day. I might try using him offline just to see what he plays like. I don't like taking guys online, but the big card there is Diego Carlos. So I like Militao. I don't love Militao. He's okay, but he's not great. So I'm going to try Diego Carlos out and see how he plays, and then maybe we'll see what we do with Eder Militao. But I want to try Diego Carlos out because he's just a card that was more appealing to me. So actually, I was quite happy getting him in the pack, even though he doesn't go for a whole heck of a lot. He's somebody that I think could replace Militao and can just slot right into the squad. So we're going to use him in this game, and these are our games from Monday. So after our 5-2 victory, we're at 14-8, and we come up against this guy, Peru. Again, assuming he's Peru based on his name. Like, you don't see too many people with Peru that aren't Peruvian descent. And this guy was... how do I say this nicely? Very ratty, I would say. This guy played like a real rat, like just really abusing a lot of tactics, running down the side, doing the same kind of stuff, just same things over and over. He got really lucky there. I didn't think he deserved the goal that he scored. He shot that with his left foot, even though it was a tramp. I read it, but it just smashed into the near post. And it seems to be a goal that we're conceding quite a lot. When guys go running down the wing, we know that they're looking for the tramp. They're not going to do anything else. They're not going to cross it. So I'm trying to read those. And even when I do read them, sometimes they still find their way through. It's very frustrating. It's something that I would like EA to, I guess, patch, just if you read it, you deserve to have the ball intercepted. But for some reason, it's just like there's way too many passes that find their way through from that sidewall there. It's very annoying, but we do tie it with Sergio Aguero. Beautiful drag back, and then he smashes it into the far post. I thought I had another goal there, but I just choked it. I think I accidentally held lob shot, which was just my own fault. I guess just you'd consider that a choke. I had the ball in a really good position, but for some reason I was holding L1. I don't know why, because I guess I was L1 passing it. And I accidentally lobbed it. So that was totally my fault because I bottled that opportunity. I could have put this to bed, but now we are going to go into extra time. This guy actually had some really fortunate late opportunities here. He probably got unlucky with that opportunity there, falling to his player. If he was smart, he would have just taken it down and passed it into the empty net. But like a lot of us, he probably just cracked under the pressure because of the 90th minute, and he ended up firing it right into my keeper, so I'm thankful for that. But this extra time was just, crazy ratty. Like, you guys can see his team. He was on drop back. The entire second half of extra time, I was in his zone, or in his end, I was zone. I've been watching a lot of hockey, but I was in his end, literally almost like a power play, like just... Again, hockey reference there, but he had probably 8 men back, if not more, and he was just sitting there. He defended really well. I'll give him credit. He was a good defender because he was trying to read. He was only controlling his midfielders, but it almost felt like 5 at the back, and he was just trying to play for penalties. He was holding on for dear life, and I just couldn't unlock the door there. I was like so close to getting a couple scoring opportunities, but you guys just saw the final minutes there. That's how good a defender he was. But I honestly was in and around his 18 that entire 15-minute period. I just couldn't break through because he was so ratty. He had all these guys on high pressure, but they were just sitting there and buzzing around, and I just couldn't get the space to get a shot away. It was very frustrating, but credit to him for defending it well. And then he was trying to counterattack, but he didn't even generate any counterattacks because I wasn't giving the ball up. I was just cycling it back, getting in, and then couldn't get an opportunity. So if he tackled me, I would just dispossess him and then come right back at him. And it was just in and around that 18 that was just, it was so frustrating because I thought, all I needed was that one goal. But of course, when you own possession and you're dominating a player, if you go into penalty kicks, it's kind of the, it's the same old story that the team that doesn't deserve to go to penalty kicks usually wins it. And in my personal opinion, that's what happened, right? I thought we were pretty fairly matched up, but I thought I deserved the win. Take that for what it is. It's the guy who's telling the story who felt he deserved to win, but I really did based on that extra time performance. I was really just dominating him. He didn't have any opportunities in that second half, and then we went to extra time, and he just beat me in penalties, right? So we ended up losing in penalties. I think that's our second penalty loss. So very frustrating, because those are also just very draining, right? Like, those games are really long. You have to play a fitness card on your squad pretty much at the end of any one of those games, because your fitness is so drained. Your players are so fatigued, and you're fatigued too. It's like a mentally draining game. And then you have to concentrate during penalties too, so the last thing you want to do is jump right into another game. But, that's what we're going to do. So we end up coming up against this guy who is called God's Team. He's playing 5 at the back, and when I saw the players that he had, I thought, oh no, what is happening here? Is this going to be really annoying? Normally, I don't mind playing 5 at the backs. We can usually break them down. 5 at the back, I don't think, is a really overpowered formation. People think that they're super defensive, so they're going to be able to counterattack. But at this stage in FIFA, there's so many good attackers and so many good defenders that I don't think 5 at the back is a really useful formation. But, yeah, this guy just essentially, I don't know if he quit out or if he actually got DNF'd or something like that, but it didn't matter. We didn't even get 5 minutes into the game. We didn't even get 1 minute into the game, and then the guy ended up quitting out. So the downside with that is that my team now is crazy moraled, right? Because that still counts as like a draw or a loss. So it does affect your team's morale. So now my team is playing even worse. And we come up against this guy who has Kevin De Bruyne, a big surprise. He's got Red Mahrez. He's got some other players in there, some really high-rated players. Everybody's got pretty much meta teams at this, so there's no point in me even like going through it. It's about a database about 100 guys that you'll see in any kind of combination of players in their teams. But yeah, my team was just playing so poor. You guys can see there, like, he got swarmed by about 4 or 5 guys. No one put a tackle, no one put a block in, and he ends up shooting it off my keeper, and my keeper pushes it into the net. There you go. You guys saw that in the last video. The physical elements of my players, like, they don't lock in. There you go. He doesn't identify the ball. So I'm just getting moraled again, right? Which, again, you guys can say, oh, it's you being crazy, but like, look, if this is a coincidence, this is the craziest coincidence you've ever heard, right? Because it's so consistent. Every time I lose games on the bounce, your team just plays worse. Not locking into balls bouncing around. I can't control anything, just coughing it up here and there. Like, basically my players have no physical abilities. And then he just is walking up the field. I don't know what happened here. I don't remember this one, to be totally honest with you. I think I tried dropping it and passing it, but the pass didn't identify or something along those lines. And my keeper just ran it into his player. Like, you guys know me, I'm not going to run the ball into his player. I think that's dumb. I wasn't trying to do a skill move around the player. I literally tried to drop it and pass it, but for some reason, like I said, the pass didn't identify, and he just kept walking and dispossessed me and kicked it into the empty net. However, he DNF'd or just dropped out or dropped connection or something. I don't know what happened. Like, I swear on my life I've never tampered with my teams or anything like that, and I'm also not going to do it when I'm 2-0 down, because, like I've said, this affects you from a morale standpoint. So now we're 3 in a row. I was so frustrated that I just jumped. I made the mistake of jumping into another game, but I thought, for some reason in my mind, I was thinking, I don't know if these games registered, but I thought it was going to take me down to a point where maybe I would just come up against someone who was also having, the same luck that I was, and it would just be a crappy player or an easy opponent or something like that. And that's sort of what happened in this next game. So this guy was a good player. However, this guy's team was getting handicapped too. His players were taking really stupid touches. And this was one of the most enraging games of FIFA I have ever played. This is where I took that box and I smashed it against the computer box that I had. This guy's team was doing the same thing that my team was doing. Really nice goal there from his Ben Yedder. But it was like he was being punished and I was being punished for really stupid stuff. Like, it's like our players just had no control. It was just the ball was bouncing around in the dumbest possible fashions. Offsides left and right on both sides, on both teams. He's up 1-0, but, his players are really making dumb mistakes. And then he ends up getting a penalty here. So I thought, this is just going to be the most frustrating thing. I know it's not really showing his team doing it too much, but trust me, you could tell if you watched the entire game unedited, like his players were just making really idiotic mistakes. But we do end up stopping his penalty, so that's good. I think he took it with Haaland there because he was using a left-footed blonde guy and with a generic head. It was either De Jong or Haaland. But there you go, right? Like onto Aguero's left foot, and he smashes it. It hits the post, but it does go in. So just really, really bizarre bounces and dumb opportunities. But the game, very, very fair. It was just back and forth, but it was just like giveaway central, right? This entire game was just mistake after mistake after mistake, and it was enraging. Not because the guy was like fantastic or not because he was good or bad. It had nothing to do with my opponent. You know, he's trying to win, but it was just frustrating to watch the game break, right? Like there, a perfect example. He just shoots it bounces off his keeper, he parries it right to my guy, and I just kicked it into the empty net. It wasn't really the opportunity that I was seeking, but here played the ball inside. Maradona was trying to round the keeper, but he just took a heavy touch right into the keeper. This guy threw on net, ball just bounces up after his shot. Like it was just like both teams were just playing so stupid. You know, I'm sure this guy was frustrated himself, like having to deal with some of this like idiocy. Like look at that. Like this is just like showing a game of two broken teams playing each other. And I wish that this was something that EA could see because it was just totally broken, right? He ends up scoring a goal there, but ends up shooting it right through the middle on just like a blind through ball that just seeing-eyed its way through. And look, he probably deserved to be rewarded for that, but he goes up 3-2. Nice little Burba spin, but I did read it and still went through anyway, and he passes it and just fires it through. However, we get another opportunity late in the game through to De Jong. DDA is in my favor. He does the lean over run. Here you go. We're at 3-3. So after 90 minutes, we're at 3-3. And this game was just like, this was the most mentally draining game that I've ever played of FIFA in my entire life. Like, look at that. Look at those bounces. And he smashes it off the post and then scores the rebound on that. Like, I was so just frustrated and annoyed. I think this was somewhere around the point where I took that box and just smashed it because I was just like, look, this is so stupid. But then we play the ball inside to Aguero and tied at 4-4. I don't think either of us deserved the pain that this game brought to us, right? Like, I felt bad for my opponent because he was up 4-3, and you could just tell that he couldn't stop my team at that point, right? This is just idiocy after idiocy on both of our parts. Like, we just can't do anything. The game's just totally broken. Like, look at that. Like, poor guy, he actually had a chance to win it late in the game. Nice little cut inside. My defenders don't read it at all. Like, even though I read the play, like, I couldn't have stopped it even if I wanted to, but he shoots it directly into an auto block from the defender. It was like the game couldn't figure out who to screw more, if that makes any sense. That's probably the best way for me to describe it. So once again, we're back into penalties. And as I've said many a time, I consider myself a decent penalty shooter. Or a penalty taker, I guess. Again, hockey reference. Penalty taker. But for some reason, I guess in this game lately, I've just been overthinking it, or I'm thinking guys are so good now that they're reading my penalties. So I'm trying to be elusive and try to mix things up, and I'm just kind of panicking. But it is what it is, right? So we're at 1-1. He misses one, smashes off the post. We have Alexis. This is kind of the way I normally take penalties. I like to pick the spot and then shoot it. However, I guess the tell is in the head, so like that type of stuff gets me in my own head and I start overthinking it. So blocked opportunity, he puts his away, so we are at 2-1 to the bad, and then Alex Telles steps up, puts that away. We're at 2-2. So very even game back and forth. He steps up with his Ben Yedder. I'm honestly watching this with as much intent as you guys because honestly I don't even remember most of this penalty shootout. I was in such a haze, such a frustrated haze from playing that entire game that I don't even remember most of this. And then Kun Aguero, he actually should have stopped that, so I felt bad for him because his keeper jumped the right way, but for some reason it went back towards goal. I don't know if it's punishing him or what. And then we end up making a stop, and we get the chance to put it away here with Toni Kroos, and I'm not going to waste this opportunity. I'm just going to put this away. Go safe, go low, just get the win. So we finish on 15-9, and honestly, guys, this was the result of the frustration of that game. How broken this game was for not only my team, but this poor opponent. He deserved a better result. I'm glad it wasn't against me, but he deserved a better result, right? Alexis, I feel bad for this poor guy because he was dealing with the same frustration that I was. It was maybe the best example of broken game mechanics I have ever seen in a video game in my entire life. It was really pathetic. Just the amount of dumb errors that this game was making, because both of our teams were just getting so badly handicapped, so badly moraled, that it was just awful team playing awful team, making errors and the ball bouncing off of players. Like, it was like nobody could keep control. It was like watching an ice hockey game on grass. It was just totally pathetic. And honestly, after that, like, I didn't even care. I could have, all I needed was 2 more wins from my final 6 games to get 17 and get that one extra opportunity, or that one extra card to choose from. But honestly, guys, I'm sorry, I just couldn't do it. Like, this was the most mentally draining, mentally fatiguing weekend of FIFA I've ever played. And like I said so many times, like, I love FIFA. I like playing it, but this weekend league, man, it is the worst of the game. It's like it brings out the worst in the game because people are just sweaty and they abuse the tactics. And when you break this game with the tactic abuse, it becomes unbearable to play, and it hurt my mental health, right? It just hurt my mental health, and I couldn't play it. So I apologize that I didn't put out a couple more games, but hopefully you guys enjoyed these 3 videos because they took everything out of me. But that is going to be the end of the video, guys. I appreciate you guys all watching. Rewards tomorrow. So until then, guys, take care. Peace.